Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. Sometimes destruction isn't slow. Sometimes it comes from one night, one reckless choice, one moment you can't take back. This is the kind of story that leaves a mark. I should have stayed home. If life came with a rewind button, I'd go back to that night and erase it entirely. One party, one drink too strong, one lapse in judgment, and everything I had unraveled. My career. My home. My marriage. I was 32. A marketing professional with a predictable paycheck, a manageable mortgage, and a husband I trusted to be my forever. Ethan and I had 5 years of marriage behind us. Not flawless, not perfect, but steady. Or so I believed. That Friday, my team celebrated landing a huge client. My boss, Vince, hosted a late-night gathering at a high-end loft downtown. Ethan wasn't happy about me going. He'd always said Vince was a little too charming for his comfort. But I brushed it off with a casual, "I'll be home by midnight." I should have listened. The loft buzzed with music, dim lighting, and expensive alcohol. At first, I stuck with my coworkers, chatting and laughing about the project. Then Vince walked over and handed me a drink I didn't recognize. "You earned this," he said with a smirk. I shouldn't have taken it. But I did. And then another. By the time the room started to empty, the floor felt like it was tilting. Vince drifted closer, leaning in when he spoke, brushing against my arm, laughing at things that weren't that funny. I noticed the warning signs, but I didn't pull away. What happened after that is fog. I remember sitting beside him, his hand sliding onto my leg. Then nothing. When I opened my eyes, sunlight was pouring into his bedroom. My clothes were still on, but my stomach dropped anyway. Shame crashed over me so hard I thought I might throw up. I slipped out, ordered an Uber, and cried the entire ride home. Ethan was still asleep. I stared at myself in the bathroom mirror and whispered the same lie over and over. Nothing happened. I was too drunk. Nothing happened. But deep down, I knew something had happened, even if I didn't want to face it. For the next few weeks, guilt poisoned everything. When Ethan hugged me, I stiffened. When he asked about work, I stumbled over my words. My secret festered until it burst on its own. 2 weeks later, I walked into the office to find HR in Vince's glass office. He wouldn't look at me. By noon, they called me in. Vince had admitted that something occurred that night, mutual but unfortunate. The company had a zero-tolerance policy for manager-employee relationships. I was terminated on the spot. No severance. No glowing recommendation. Just a printed packet and a cold, "We wish you the best." I went home shattered. Ethan was cooking dinner. I broke down and told him everything, except the part where I didn't resist, the part where I could have said no and didn't. He listened without interrupting. Then he whispered the sentence that split my world open. "You cheated on me, Claire." I tried to explain how drunk I'd been, how blurry it all was, how I hadn't wanted it, but his eyes went blank. He packed a suitcase before midnight and said he needed time. 2 days later, I received a notice from the landlord. Ethan had withdrawn from the lease renewal. His name was on the paperwork, not mine. I had 30 days to move out. No job. No husband. No home. I ended up in my sister Megan's spare room, a cramped space with peeling paint and too much awkward silence. She tried to be empathetic, but every look she gave me felt like a silent verdict. I applied for anything I could find, retail, assistant work, freelance gigs, but the marketing world is small. Rumors travel fast. And then came the worst blow of all. Megan came home one night pale and shaking. Without saying a word, she handed me her phone. A video. Lobby security footage from the night of the party. There I was, laughing, leaning in, Vince kissing my cheek, me not pulling away. The timestamp made it undeniable. Someone had uploaded it to Reddit with the caption, "The office fling that blew up. She got fired and now she's pretending to be the victim." My name wasn't in the post, but it didn't matter. Former coworkers recognized me instantly. The comments were vicious. I deleted everything, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Turned off my phone. Stayed in bed for 2 days straight. Ethan never called. Months passed before I found a part-time receptionist position at a dentist's office. It barely paid the bills, but it was something. Megan pushed me to see a therapist. I resisted, but eventually went. And in that tiny office, I said the truth aloud for the first time. I hadn't been forced. I hadn't fought it. I froze. I faltered. I let a situation spiral because I didn't want to admit the responsibility. One night of weakness cost me everything. Ethan didn't deserve that betrayal, blurred or not. I drafted a long apology letter, pages of honesty I'd never spoken, but I never mailed it. He's moved on. I know that now. Some days I replay that night like a broken film reel. If I had just gone home early. If I had said no to the second drink. If I had walked away when the lines started blurring. But I didn't. And the consequences echo through every day of my life now. People like to think one moment doesn't define them. But sometimes it does. Sometimes a single mistake becomes the shadow you live under forever. Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers.